Hello everyone and welcome to Heavy Debriefings Top 100 Albums of 2023 Part 2, 90 through 81. If you need to catch up, check out the previous video, check out the playlist which will contain all the videos when they premiere, and of course, if you need any definition of what the rules are all about or how I go about doing this, make sure to check them all down below. So, let's begin. Coming in at number 90 is Ice Giant with Ghost of Humanity. And this is a band that I discovered this year thanks to Prog Power, and I really thoroughly enjoy what they've done. This is a big transition from their first album, and their sophomore album 5 years later here really shows the band going more into the melodic death metal, symphonic death metal, power thrash, power metal, like a great combination of so many different genres together, but it all makes sense in context. None of it feels like it's too avant-garde or anything. Every song has its own distinct feel, and really, it's more cohesive than I'm making it out to be. This is some great heavy stuff here, and if you're looking for something from the American side of symphonic and melodic death metal, you should check this one out. Coming in at number 89 is Scar Symmetry with the Singularity Part 2, Zenithaf. And despite it being lower on the list, make sure you read the rules down below so you know that this is the top 100 albums of 2023, not just 100 albums that I heard in 2023. This album is still fantastic. It is easily the heaviest album the band has put out so far, but don't fret. There are so many great melodic moments that happen throughout this, a lot of great progressive moments that happen throughout. And of course, it continues the story of the Singularity, which may or may not be the next album, finalizing in part 3. When I talked to Per earlier this year, which you should check out that interview, he mentioned that they might be doing something completely different for the next album, or they might do part 3, they're still working things out. But the fact that they can get this heavy and still be melodic at the same time is A-okay in my book. And if you needed any reassurance that Scar Symmetry is still sounding great 9 years later, all you need to do is check this one out. Coming in at number 88 is Enslaved with Heimdall, and I'm honestly kind of surprised that it ranked this kind of low on the list, as usually Enslaved albums are ranked very, very high in my top 100, but a culmination of a couple different things happened where I just was not able to give this album the time of day. But that said, every time that I do spin it, I thoroughly enjoy it. It is focused more on the black metal side, it is a much more raw album than what they've been doing in recent times, so if you're an old school Enslaved fan, this is an album that you're probably really gonna enjoy. And if you like the latter day Enslaved, you'll still find some great progressive, melodic moments throughout this entire album that should be right up your alley as well. Coming in at 87 is Arrival of Autumn with Kingdom Undone. The band's third album in 9 years really shows the band doing their most catchy album to date so far, while not straying away from what made them a standout band to begin with. There's still great thrash moments throughout this thing, great proggy moments as well, but it really does focus more on some really catchy metalcore moments, which really do hit in the right spots. The choruses really knock you out of the park, the riffs can get so heavy with their breakdowns. There's so many great things to enjoy about this album, and if you're looking for a new, fresh take on metalcore and you've never checked out this band before, you should give them a shot. Coming in at number 86 is Obituary with Dying of Everything, and this album hits so very, very hard in 2023. The fact that they decided to even up the tempo and create their fastest song to date with Barely Alive, when they're known for being such a slower to mid-tempo death metal band, shows that the band is still full of fuel in the tank. While I may enjoy their self-titled album, which is the previous album, a bit more, I really enjoy everything that's in this package, and I really hope I get to see them again to see these songs live in person, because if they sound this good on record, it's going to be even better live. Coming in at number 85 is Recite the Cynic with their self-titled debut. Stefan Weinerhall has done so many great things, from black metal to power folk metal, and now he's taking on synthwave metal. This brand new duo has created that great 80s synth sound, but modernized just enough, with very strong vocals, which could be polarizing to some people. I think really works out for the benefit of the band. And just seeing the creativity that Stefan has put in musically behind this album, I'm very grateful to see that he's continuing on musically. While this may not catch the appeal of Falconer fans, it still might. It still might, and you should not count this one out. It's cool stuff. Coming in at 84 is Aeonic Impulse with Beyond the Light. The sophomore album from this band did take a bit of time for it to finally come out, but I'm so glad that it did. It shows the band shifting into a different direction, exploring their musical wings, but still maintaining that core sound of what the band is all about. This time around on Beyond the Light, they still have those great proggy moments that anyone that enjoys the progressive rock side will thoroughly enjoy, going into a bit more different territories. The fact that they can have a song that sounds like Incubus that goes into one of the heaviest Gojira breakdowns that you've heard really shows where the band is at right now in 2023. Another very underrated progressive rock, progressive metal album, but if you like the idea of more alternative styles in your prog, this is an album worth your time. Coming in at number 83 is Valençaro with Shore Stank, and it's been a while since the band has put out any new material, but they came back with a vengeance this time around. The folk elements are so enjoyable. The progressive metal side really makes it feel like if Devin Townsend decided to start a folk metal band. And of course the comedy bits, just like with the Devin Townsend parts, you gotta have that little tongue-in-cheek feel behind it. All of that combined creates some magnificent musicianship and songwriting, and an overall sense of what folk metal could be. While there's not too many bands going on in folk metal right now, at least compared to a decade ago, I'm glad to see Valençaro has come back with a full vengeance. Coming in at number 82 is Beyond the Black with their self-titled album. And just several albums into their career, they have come out with their self-titled album, and it might be one of their strongest albums to date. While the band has kind of pushed away their symphonic sound for a more modern metal sound, they still find a way to be able to blend both of them so they work in perfect harmony. So the songs are a bit catchier to the top 40 rock crowd, but I imagine in a live setting that these songs will really go over well. This has been happening a lot in the genre where the symphonics and modern metal have been combining together, but this is a shining example of how it can be done right. And finally today, coming in at number 81 is Inherits the Void with the Impending Fall of the Stars. This is pure atmospheric black metal, so it's got those great blast beats, black metal screaming and tremolo picking that you would expect, with those great tinges of post-rock elements that really add to the atmosphere. This is a dark, brooding album, very emotional, mournful, and it really gives you a punch to the gut. But all of that said, if you enjoy this style of music, this should be right up your alley. I haven't seen enough people talk about this album, especially from those that enjoy this genre, so please, if you enjoy the atmospheric black metal stuff, give Inherits the Void your shot. And there you go, folks, part 2 of Heavy Debriefing's top 100 albums of 2023. 90 through 81 has concluded. What do you think? Did I put some good albums on here? Are there some bad albums? What are you looking forward to in the top 80 albums of 2023? All that and more, let me know down below. And of course, catch up with everything on YouTube. If you want a more in-depth look at these albums, make sure to go to the written version at heavydebriefings.weebly.com. And until part 3 for Heavy Debriefings, this is Josh Runquist saying, see ya.